Hello everyone, I'm Sergio, you already know that, and I'm here with Nick, the developer of Novus Aeterno.
Hey, it does.
So he is going to introduce me in Novus Aeterno because it's a new RTS game, MMO RTS game, and everything is new for me. It's a new type of RTS game, if I can say so, and I have here Nick, and he will teach me everything I need to know about Novus Aeterno, and he will tell me more about the future of this game, what he's planning for it, and stuff like that. And also, okay, Nick, don't. One more thing, there is a Kickstarter campaign. If you wish to get certain features in this game and to play the beta, to play the alpha, to get other stuffs, just go on Kickstarter, back the game, help the developers, and well, you'll make this game true. Yeah. All right, Nick.
So let's get started. First of all, let's walk you through everything we have in the game so far and get playing a bit, and then from there I can explain the other things we're adding into the game right now. So first thing, have you already built up your empire a little bit, or you started from scratch?
I built my empire when you first sent me my account and the password, but now it looks like I don't see anything on the planet. I mean...
Oh, we did a database update just yesterday, so we reset all the accounts. Quickly log out of the game and create a new account.
Go
ahead and click escape, and then log out.
Wait a second, log out. All right.
Okay. And then just put in your username and password.
Log in.
Log in.
All right. I delete the empire and I create a new one?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. And right now the only playable race is the human race, but we'll be adding in 4 more alien races. Which are very, very alien, and they all play completely differently. The human race is more, not standard, but more logical in an RTS sense, whereas the other races get more and more just bizarre with lots of attributes and skill shot abilities and stuff like that. Like, they get really unique in their play style. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and select your race, select your avatar, and then
yeah, sure, I will select the race, and also there are 2 sides. I can select 2 types of characters, or...
Yes, that's just your avatar in the game. That is your console general. I'll go into explaining who he is and what that means a bit later on in the video.
All right, so I selected him. Username Sergio. That should work. Create and continue.
Okay. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have to start by building the facilities and stuff on your planet. So tell me as soon as you finish loading into the game. It takes a little while to load in right now because it is just one massive RTS map.
Yeah, I see.
No level streams, no divisions, nothing.
All right, I'm loaded. Run the tutorial. I should say no because I have you here.
I will be your tutorial for today.
All right, that's awesome.
Okay. So first things first. To move around pretty much all elements of the game, you use WASD keys, and I'll explain the logic of that in a minute. You can also left-click and hold and drag. If you move your map of your planet's surface a little bit down and to the right, you will see your planetary HQ. Now this is the first building you start with. Yeah.
Wait a second, I don't see any planetary HQ.
If you don't find it, it's not important. It's just somewhere on the surface of your planet map.
I see. Oh, okay. What do we build?
Now, first thing we'll do, let's go to the 3rd button down on the right, build sectors.
All right.
You're going to want to build a warehouse. You're going to actually build like 3 warehouses. You can, after you select the warehouse, you can hold down Shift and just click another couple of times on the map, and it will give a few more build orders for the same building.
All right. Wait a second. It's not working.
Double click on it to start building. Double click on the icon in the build sector.
Oh no, I built those, but the shift plus left click is not working to. No.
Wait, maybe it's right click. I think it's actually.
Yeah, but I built those warehouses. I did a tutorial when I play the game for the first time. So I
once you have
have
the warehouses, then you're going to want to build the factory, the shipyard, and the spaceport.
the factory, the shipyard, and the spaceport. One single building for each one, right?
Yeah, build 2 factories.
All right. So why did we build so many warehouses?
Because every single item in the game takes up space in something. It's not just imaginary. So, for example, every weapon, every engine, every shield, every resource you own, everything takes up space in your warehouses. So it's good to build a couple extra ones at the beginning so they don't fill up and it will halt your production.
I understand.
So now, the first thing let's do, let us design a ship. Actually, no, build a mine or 2 as well, now that I think about it.
A mine. What are the mines for?
The mines are for exactly what they sound like. They are for gathering resources from your planet.
What type of resources? Every type, or?
They will gather all types of resources available on this planet. Each planet, there's 3 main categories of resources, which for the moment are just classified as common, uncommon, and rare resources.
I understand.
And then you have your basic funds, which are like just cash generated by taxing your population. We will be adding also in crafting resources, which the mines will also collect from the planets, but different planets have access to different crafting resources. I'll go into that in a little bit as well.
So
now,
is it possible to have planets only with one single type of resources? For example, only common items?
No. All planets do have all 3 types of resources, but how much each one has depends on the planet.
Okay, so the resources are consumable.
Yes.
Right.
What do you mean?
I mean, at some point you will run out of resources.
No, you won't run out of resources on the planet. But they have different amounts, as in they have different amounts that you will be able to gather, like different percentages of it.
Oh.
So on one planet you may gather, I don't know, 5 common, 2 uncommon, and 1 rare. Another one you may gather 2 uncommon, 2 common, and 3 rare.
Okay, I see now.
Or per cycle.
Okay. So now we have to go and design a ship.
Yes. So go ahead and double click on the ship designer build. The shipyard, which is the building with like the floating pod thing above it.
Shipyard. Wait a second. Shipyard. I don't think I built I built one.
Go ahead and build one then. Right, you're playing on a development server, which means that there's a few things different. First of all, the construction of buildings is sped up a lot. And second of all, the number of buildings you can hold on a planet is based on the planet's population. And that's the number you see at the very top. It should be like, like 10 out of 100. 100 is the amount of buildings your population can support. Due to the fact it's a development server made for testing and stuff like that, we just gave you maximum population on your planet, so you can build up really quickly.
Oh,
but normally you would never, like, it would take you years to get a planet up to enough population to hold 100 buildings. Typically you would have your planets and stuff would be able to hold around like 10 to 30 buildings.
On the top right corner, I see there CP0.
Yes.
What's that?
CP is our version of population caps called command points. I'll get into in a moment how that actually interacts in the game, but the main thing about CP is that due to the fact that it still has a competitive element to it, this RTS game, and we didn't want to make it boring and slow. So even though it is an MMO, you can build up 100 units in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You can build units really fast, and you can have massive battles and all your units die and you build new units. And so it still has the pacing of more of a typical multiplayer RTS game or an action RTS game, but on the MMO scale. So we had to have some kind of population cap. Otherwise, if you just kept building units for like 3 hours, 4 hours, or a week, you would have literally 1 billion spaceships. So we put this in just to help balance out players. So you can build really fast, but every single player has the same maximum number of military power. I'll get into exactly why that is. So now, have you built a shipyard?
Yes, the shipyard is built.
Okay, go ahead and double click on it.
Okay.
Shipyard interface. And then at the very top of that, you have the
ship designer. Oh, okay, I see that.
Now, every single unit in this game, the player designs and builds. So how that works is, at the beginning here, you'll see a list of different hull types. Now, each hull type has a different set of base attributes and slots. Now, a hull doesn't have speed or damage or anything like that. Those are all in the components. The hull just says how many different kinds of weapons, engines, or shields, or bays, or utilities you can fit onto the unit, and how much armor it has, and how much health it has, and a few other small characteristics.
I see that.
So go ahead and select a hull, anyone you want to.
All
and
right.
then, once you have a hull selected, we're going to work our way from the left to the right of the top of the interface, where it goes hull, weapon, engine. So next, click on weapons.
So I selected the hull, and now I go to the weapons.
Yes, and now you click and drag the weapons that you want into the different component slot, into the different slots of the ship, which are weapons on the left, slots on the right.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
As you scroll down on that list, you'll notice that there's like front primary, left secondary, stuff like that. A primary weapon is a main anti-ship weapon. So normally they do quite high damage, but they have fairly narrow fire arcs. A secondary weapon does a lot less damage, much less range, much higher fire rate, and much larger fire arc. Secondary weapons are almost more defensive weapons. They're more designed for destroying fighters, defending your ship against enemy missiles, almost like flat cannons and stuff like that. They can still shoot at other ships, they just don't do too much damage to them.
Are there going to be, I mean, specific weapons for the left secondary and the front primary sides?
No, there's just two categories of weapons, primary and secondary.
Okay, and
you organize them how you want to on your ship.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So I only put weapons on this one.
Yeah, okay, so once you have all the weapons put in, go to the engines. Remember to always check and make sure you put engines on your ship, because if you don't put engines, it won't move. It's just a space station.
Yeah, that's an awesome feature.
So also right now you just started the game, so you wouldn't have unlocked any shields yet. Now, as I was bringing up before about the CP, the command points.
Yes.
Each weapon has a different DPS, different attributes, all sorts of stuff, and it also all has different CP costs. So if you want, you can design super elite ships that will cost like 2,000 CP, or you can build really, really like cheap ships that will only cost like 400 CP or 300 CP.
I see.
So it's all just up to how you play, and there is components in the game that are really overpowered and really, really strong, but they cost a lot more CP. So it really comes down to what style of play do you like as a gamer. Like, okay, myself personally, I always played the Soviet Union in Red Alert games, and I always played the Zerd in StarCraft. So I mean, I prefer units that are a bit cheaper. I can produce them a bit faster, but I can get them out on the field, and I don't really care if they die. And I have mixtures of different kinds of things I like. I like my expensive units are really, really expensive, coming from the whole Soviet Union, like mammoth tanks and stuff. Yeah. And then my cheap units, coming from the Zerd, are really, really cheap. Like one gun, one bullet. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you something about the units in Novus Aeterno. Are there going to be any special units? And I'll give you an example of a special unit that I imagine, like Death Star from Star Wars. Is there going to be a weapon that massive?
Yes. And
oh my god.
They're called capital ships. I'll send you some of the artwork and stuff for the capital ships after this.
Oh
but capital ships are actually our first stretch goal on Kickstarter, which we reached like 2 days ago, I think. So we now have the funds to start development on capital ships. And what capital ships are is just what you said. It is, you can only ever have one of them in game at a time, but they are just a huge ship, like 4 or 5 times the size of a Dreadnought.
That's impressive.
You can customize your capital ship completely with the normal weapons and engines and shields. It can fit like 50 primary weapons on the front. It's insane. But in addition to that, it has 4 special slots that only capital ships can have. And the components that go into those slots give the capital ship skills, almost like a Dota character. You know, so you get activatable skills for your capital ship. Like, okay, for example, one of the skills, which is really cool, is it's a cannon that fires a massive high explosive round. So the cannon will fire, it'll hit the enemy unit and do AoE damage and knock back everything around that enemy unit. So for example, if your enemy is made kind of like a British Civil War, I mean a British like Renaissance formation of like line abreast with all their lines like all lined up in a row, all the redcoats, you can fire that cannon right in the middle of the line and it'll break a hole in the line for some of your ships to be able to like pierce through it. Stuff like that. So it'll give like really cool, powerful abilities that you can use. And some of them are just like buffs for your own units. Some of them are like the typical things. It's almost like bringing in some of those MMO skills and spells into an RTS game through your capital ship.
Man, I am speechless. I am speechless, honestly.
So, and of course, the capital ships are completely customizable, just like every other unit in the game. So you design it. So like, what skills do you like in the game? So for example, for myself, I like having my capital ship like, I want to have it all offensive. Like, it's just there to do as much damage as possible. And, like, it alone will be able to hold off entire fleets. It'll be so incredible. But it'll be really expensive in CP. And I'll have to micromanage it really carefully. Yeah. Whereas other people, like, one thing that a lot of our alpha testers are really excited about, they want to make their capital ship into their trade ship. So it's like a super trade ship that will have more warehouse space than, like, 4 planets combined.
That's...
Like, just... selling what they have on their capital ship will make them enough resources in game to build like 2,000 fleets of ships, and so that's what they want to do with their capital ship. As I say, the capital ship is now, as I said, your console general, the avatar you select at the beginning. Your avatar is on that capital ship, and eventually one day we even want to put full 3D bridges into the capital ship. We actually already have started work on some of the 3D bridges. I'll send you some of the artwork for that too. But we've already, and you'll be able to walk around inside the bridge of your capital ship, and it really it adds in that kind of like the RPG element into like.
Oh my god, man! What you're telling me is awesome. And
so go ahead.
Look, the planets will be destroyable. You will be able to destroy planets in Novus Aeterno.
Okay, now there's 2 things to go into there. The game itself, there's going to be 2 servers almost for the game. There's the persistent universe, which is never ending and always going, and then there will be hardcore servers, which are completely separate. So you would have 2 accounts. And on the hardcore servers, they'll have a limited amount of time, and they'll be much more competitive and objective based. So there's a lot of features we put into Novus Aeterno to help balance the game, to help make it always fair for new and old players and support the persistency. In the hardcore servers, we won't include that. For example, in a hardcore server, maybe no CP cap. In the hardcore server, you'll be able to destroy planets. In a hardcore server, you'll be able to do a lot of these other things. And we will let the community vote on what they want the rules for this week's hardcore server to be. Amazing. And it'll run for that amount of time, and there'll be a clear winner and loser. Like another one of the hardcore servers, the first one that I want to put up, which I think will be awesome, is like 100 games hardcore server, where each planet has a limited amount of resources, like you were saying, that runs out, but it's really little. So the only way to keep having enough resources to maintain your ships and stuff is by capturing more planets. But very easily, like for example, you could have built up, you could have captured 3 planets. You have no more resources left. All you have is your 1 fleet. If you don't manage to capture another planet with your 1 fleet, you're out of the game. Like if you get into a battle and your fleet gets destroyed, you now have 3 planets with no resources and no fleet. You're dead. You're out of the game now. And like the players will have to fight really viciously for these resources, otherwise they're dead. And there'll be 1 or 2 players that will actually have made it all the way through and had their empire survive for that time. Yeah, so the hardcore servers will incorporate much more of those elements. But in the persistent universe of Novus Aeterno, which is many galaxies, many servers linked together, in that one you cannot destroy planets. Because that would be very unbalanced. Otherwise, because it's the same server they'll run on for years and years, you would eventually have the point where like a group of trolls would remove all the planets from you.
Yeah, that's indeed true.
Okay, so back to the ship design. Another thing, in your utilities, put an FTL assembly in them.
Why is that?
the map of Novus, of just one galaxy, which is one server, it would take you about a month and a half for your unit to move from one side of the map to the other. Like a month and a half of you just sitting there looking at your screen.
All right.
The space
and the FTL drive assembly, what does it do?
It is warp speed. It allows you to teleport around the map.
I see.
Now,
and
it has a downside, but it is also very expensive with CP cost. Its CP cost is 210. Like the hull of your ship doesn't even cost that much. So it is expensive, but it's good also, at least right now also, because we're just learning the game and stuff, so you can explore a little bit easier. But for example, another one of the capital ship's abilities that you can have is an AoE FTL. So every ship that's around your capital ship will FTL with your capital ship. So
oh my god.
That would save you a lot of CP because you don't have to put FTL assemblies on each one of your ships.
Yes, yes.
And also notice, like, okay, for example, right now I'm building a cruiser. I only have space for one utility, which means I would much rather use that utility on something else, like a repair bay, instead of an FTL assembly. So it's totally customizable how you want to play the game. So now, the FTL assembly, and then for the moment, that's about it. For the moment, you put
there's also the offensive troop droid, I guess.
Drop
I don't
pod,
see
yeah.
the...
Those are used, the drop pods are used to capture enemy planets and stuff. The next ship we design will be a colonization ship, and I'll show you how planet capture works.
All right.
But first, I want to show you how ship movement and stuff like that works. So at the bottom of the interface, click the Save Design button, and then enter a name for the design.
Let's name it the Warrior or something. All right, done.
Okay. Now, on the right of the screen, the top button is like it says back on it. Click that, and it'll take you back to the shipyard.
I don't see that button.
On the far right of the screen, on like the list of buttons along the right edge of the screen, the very top one. It's 2 triangles.
Oh, back. Yeah.
So click that, and it will take you back to the shipyard, your previous interface you were looking at. Now, here what you do, at the top of the interface again, you see Select Ship Design.
The Warrior. Yeah. All right.
Ship Design. And then just click the Build button in the bottom right as many times as you want to. The reason we designed it like this is because you're never going to want to build one of each ship design. When you need to produce a fleet quickly, you're going to need like 15 Dreadnoughts, 30 of your like frigates and stuff. You're going to need another 15 scouts, 3 carriers, and this way you can just select one and then just build much faster. So it's a much more efficient system of how to produce like 100 ships instead of like going through a list and selecting which ship you want to build each time.
I see.
Now, the way that most of the progression works in the game, like you don't get the better buildings and upgraded factories and stuff, don't build your ships, they don't build your ships faster, but what they have is more production lines. Like right now, if you have, I think each spaceport allows you to build, each shipyard, sorry, allows you to build 3 or 4 ships at a time.
Yeah.
So if you build more shipyards, you build more ships at one time. But remember, you won't be able to have infinite number of buildings on your planet. So you have to think of what do you want to focus on? And like where are your bottlenecks? Like one thing that I like to do personally is I like to divide up my empire and organize it nicely. So I will have one planet that builds most of my my components. So all my mines all over my empire will send their resources to that one planet, and that one planet will start constructing the components. So I'll show you how that works. Right now, on this interface, on the left side of it, you should see like vault, warehouse, factory, shipyard, in little names there underneath the image.
At the managed sectors.
Oh no, okay. If you go back to managed sectors, go ahead and click on the factory.
All right.
Now, in the factory, you should see, unless it's already finished, it will be building every single one of the components that you ordered.
I have here queued components.
Yeah. And you have a list of components underneath it?
Yeah,
and you have a list of
long
components.
list.
Yeah, and you also have a list of components under construction.
Yeah, but the list is empty.
Oh. Strange.
I can add components though.
No, check. You did build warehouses, right? Open up
Yes.
your warehouses. Do you have go ahead and click on one of your warehouses and open it up. Do you have resources in them?
Yes, I have common, uncommon.
How many?
59
Only 59.
in total. Yes.
Okay, when you created your account, you didn't spawn with enough resources. You're supposed to have like 100,000 or 500,000.
Whoa.
So that's why it's not producing anything. Because when you started your account, for some reason, it didn't spawn you with the starting resources. That is very strange.
That's sad.
What is that? It is sad. Do you want to cut the video quickly and then go back and recreate your account, and it should spawn you with the right resources?
Sure. Hello again, guys. There was a little bit of a issue because of my misknowledge about this new MMO RTS game, Novus Aeterno. And well, I have Nick here. He is going to teach me how to build the ships, how to get the ships into space, and how to fight. Alright, Nick, so let's continue our...
Continue where we were. Now, if you're going to the factory, you should have a list of queued components and components under construction.
Yes,
or it may
I
have
do.
already finished.
I
Okay,
do.
cool.
A huge list.
Okay, so every single engine, weapon, shield, everything that you put onto your ships is built separately. Once it's finished being constructed in the factories, it'll go into the warehouse. Go ahead and click on your warehouse. On the left of the interface, you should see a list of all the buildings you have on your planet, like warehouse, vault, factory, everything. Just
Yeah.
for quick navigation.
Warehouses. Yeah, warehouse.
Click on the warehouse. Now, if you scroll to the bottom of this warehouse menu, you should start to see a lot of these components showing up.
Yes, yes, I see. I see the
What's happening,
components.
as soon as the factory builds enough components to build one ship completely, then all those components move to the shipyard, and it starts actually building the ship. So now the reason it's done like this is so that you can stockpile the weapons and the engines ahead of time, and you can also trade with other players. Now remember, you won't have space to build everything on your planet that you want to all the time. So maybe what you want to do is not build factories, and instead of that, trade and buy the components from other players that they already built.
Alright, Nick, so I have a question about trading and premium accounts. So you basically can do automatic tradings, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this?
Okay, so automatic trades, how that works, well, they're not automatic, they're automated, which means that they still do exist. To move the components from one planet to another, you have to load it onto a ship that has a cargo bay, move it from one planet to another, and offload it on that next planet. Now, by default, you can have a couple of these automated trade routes in your empire, and Premium account offers you more automated trade routes. But the thing about automated trade routes, they're a last resort. I do not recommend them, because think about it. Someone can raid your trade route over and over and over again, and the AI will just keep on sending more and more trade ships. So automated trade routes, and the way that our premium accounts are designed is it's more designed for the kind of player who doesn't have a lot of time to play and still wants to be able to play the game. Like if you only have a couple of hours a week, the automated trade routes can be helpful for you because they'll still keep your empire running while you're offline, and you're going to need a lot of them. Sure, you're going to lose a lot of resources, a lot of people will raid them and stuff, but it's enough to keep you going. But an active player would just manually manage his trade routes, which is a lot safer. They will get raided much less, and as soon as someone tries to raid them or has raided them, you would stop sending your trade ships that way, and you'd send your military fleets to intercept and stuff.
Yes.
So the premium account really is more designed towards the players who don't have a lot of time to play and just want to be able to stay in the game. But I heavily do not recommend that if you have another alternative, do not use automated trade routes, use manual trading. It's kind of like pay to lose.
Yeah, I was telling Nick about this this automatic trade routes. I was saying that well, he said that he's not making this a pay to win. I was saying that this is an advantage for the premium accounts, but he clearly made it clear that this is a huge disadvantage for players.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing. Look, if you have no other alternative, because like you're not online, you only have time to play for like 1 or 2 hours a week or 3 or 4 hours a week, in that case it's valuable, because it'll help your empire more than it hurts your empire because of all the times your trade routes are raided. But if you're an active player in the game, it helps you a little bit because you don't have to worry about your trade route, but it's honestly not. It more just makes something a little bit simpler for a bit higher risk. So it's not. If you have another alternative and you're willing to manage it yourself, I do recommend that heavily.
And Nick,
Yes.
another question about premium accounts. What other future do you prepare for the premium accounts?
Well, as I said, the premium accounts really are designed to focus on helping players that don't have a lot of time to play the game still stay active and playing with their friends and stuff. So you'll find other things like longer offline build queues. Okay, normal players already have offline build queues, but premium accounts have a bit longer offline build queues so they can be away for a couple of days and it's okay. Whereas an active player, that doesn't really affect them that much, because if they can come on actively, then they don't need longer build queues that much, because they'll be online. They can refresh all their build queues. And as I said, I mean, and the only reason we have this premium account is because the servers for this game are very expensive, and we need some way to be able to keep paying for the servers over time. And we don't want to have a mandatory subscription, so we made it an optional subscription for those people who want to.
Yeah. Are you going to sell, I don't know, ship designs and stuff like that in order to get money
we'll
for?
only sell skins. Skins, planet skins, stuff like that. But there'll be no actual ship hull or components or weapons or anything like that that are for sale in the store.
Yeah, that's amazing. That won't affect the gameplay in any way. That's awesome.
Well, the ships actually, like I joked with everyone else that it's the most brilliant monetization ever because it's skin to win, because a lot of your ships you can organize them quite cleverly. Like what I do is, like, of course I have all the skins. So what I do is I use it to organize my fleet. So like some of my dreadnoughts have a certain kind of skin and others have a different kind of skin, and I know what that means. So I know that if they have, for example, the Kickstarter Kyrgyz skin, if any of my ships have that skin, I know that they are lightly armored, high DPS ships. Because like when in the ship designer is when you select what skin you want to go on a hull. So it's a nice way that like a player can also use. So actually it doesn't help them in any way in the game, but it makes it a little bit easier to organize your fleets if they want to do it like that. Or you can just reskin your entire fleet if you want to. But as I said, you select what skin goes on a hull when you're designing your ship.
I see. That's good.
Okay, cool. So now you should have your ships done, and they should be in your shipyard. Sorry, spaceport.
Spaceport. Yeah, I've got them.
Okay. Go ahead and highlight the ships and click the launch button in the bottom left, bottom right.
Alright, I'm launching the ships.
Okay, you also may want to click right next to the launch button. There's a circular button with an arrow. That is the auto launch button, which means every time a ship is finished, it will launch it into space.
And the ships that are already made, are they going to launch in space?
Yes, but they'll only launch every cycle. If you look at the top of the screen, there's a cycle and then a countdown. Every 30 seconds is a cycle. So to save on server load and stuff that happens on like the planet, like launching your ships into space, designing ships, building ships, those all run on the cycle timer. Just to separate lag, because our server architecture isn't just one server, it's actually like 15 servers or more all connected together. And so we separate things, like all the AI is held on a separate server. All the combat is kind of on one server. All the shipbuilding, the cycles, that's on a separate server. The databases are all separate, and everything connects together. So that way it doesn't lag the whole universe if something lags.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now, I launched my ships in space. What do I do?
Now, go ahead and click spacebar, and it will take you to the tactical view mode. Now, before we get into the actual unit control and stuff, I just want to show you a bit about the game. If you zoom out with your mouse wheel, it'll zoom you out, and you'll be able to see your solar system and then other solar systems around you.
Indeed.
Now, just by holding WASD, you'll move around, and you'll notice you can go pretty much any direction indefinitely, and it'll just keep on spawning more and more solar systems. Each solar system is about the size of 9 8v8 about 9 8v8 RTS maps. So that's the size of one solar system. Now look at each one of these solar systems.
That's huge, man.
Like, yeah, it's insane. That's why I said you have to put FTL on your ships, because otherwise it'll take months to get from like one end of the solar system to the other.
Whoa.
And this is just one seamless map. There is no division, there's nothing. There's no borders, there's no instances, no loading screens, no nothing. It's just one massive map. So now zoom in a bit on where your planet was.
Yeah.
Now, when you click spacebar again, your camera will enter into what we call combat mode, which is normal 3D space where you control your units.
Yes.
Your camera will enter wherever your mouse is. So just put your mouse over your ships and planet, and when you press spacebar, it'll zoom into them there.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now you should have all your ships stacked up on top of each other above your planet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and left click and drag over them to select them, and then right click somewhere, and they will all move into formation.
Yeah, and I also see this blue form of the ship.
Yes, those are the holograms showing where the ship is. You can also select your ships, right click, hold, and drag, and you can tell them to face a different direction, and you'll see the formation they'll end up in. Also, if you hold down X, it'll render all the formations and all the holograms of all your ships. Now, right now, it doesn't seem so important, but when you're in a big battle fighting with like 500 ships, you may have forgotten where you moved some of them or what your new battle line was, so you can hold down X and it'll show you where all of your units are moving to.
Yeah, that's
can also, if you just select one of your ships and zoom in on it a little bit.
Oh my God. That looks awesome, man.
Okay. You can also press F to lock the camera to the ship. So go ahead and select one of your ships, and then right-click somewhere around the ship, and you'll see it'll move to that location, and it has little jet engines all around the ship that will like stop it and tell it to rotate and stuff like that.
The ship looks awesome, Nick. It's just amazing. I mean, the details are incredible.
Thank you. We actually, all these ships you're seeing right now are designed by our lead 3D artist, who was the original lead artist on Sins of a Solar Empire.
Nice. You got a great man over there.
Yeah, we do. Alright, so, next. Oh, another important thing to mention. When you select your ships, you notice there's kind of like some bluish triangles that come out for your ship, from your ship?
Yes.
Those are the fire arcs of the weapons that you put on the ship. Alright? So all different weapons have different kinds of fire arcs, and you can only shoot what's inside of your fire arcs.
Yeah, it makes sense.
In addition to that, all ships have directional armor. So depending on, you'll take different amounts of damage from the front or the sides or the rear. So it becomes very important to try and flank your enemies, keep them in your fire arcs, keep them out of your fire arc, and keep yourself out of their fire arc, stuff like that. Now, another important thing is, because this is space, now this is actually kind of cool. Select one of your ships, zoom out a bit, and tell it to move somewhere kind of far away, and then tell it to face a different direction.
How far?
Like one screen or a screen and a half.
Yeah, alright.
Then after that, you'll notice the ship will start accelerating in that direction. Once it reaches top speed... Oh, another thing you can do. Select your ship and press T. T will activate travel speed. It'll make the ship move a lot faster.
Oh,
but
wow.
all your weapons and stuff are deactivated. So you can't shoot at people and your shields are down and everything. But just to move around space, it works quite nicely.
That's beautiful, man. So
you
wonderful.
see, as the ship is... what it does, it accelerates. Once it reaches max speed, it will rotate. It will begin to rotate in its final trajectory that you want it to be, that it wants to be facing. So what this means, you can actually drift past units, like flying on your side, shooting them with your main weapons that are facing forwards.
Amazing.
In the same way, you can select your ships, give them an order to move behind them, like behind where they are, but still face forwards, and you'll notice that they reverse there using their braking engines.
This ship was actually moving behind using their back engines.
The back engines are always on, like they're always kind of like half glowing. But if you zoom in, you'll notice that it also is using like its frontal engines. It's braking with its rear engines.
Wait. Yeah. Now I understand. Now I see the difference.
Okay. Now, in addition to all of that, that pretty much covers most of unit control. Now, let us find each other. Press spacebar again.
All right.
Okay. Now, hover your mouse over your planet, and what planet are you? Oh, I found you. Never mind. You're right next to me.
Okay.
Hello. My home planet and your home planet are right next to each other.
Oh my god. On which planet are you?
You see, I'm on the planet the Terran 7, just south and a little bit west of you.
South and west. Is this Javian 30? Jovian?
You're Jovian 3. I think. No, what are you?
I am Rocky 23.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. No, so I'm not right next to you. Well, okay, so zoom out a little bit more. What solar system are you in?
Solar system 454.
454.
And -2, 11. You got it?
454. I'm still searching for it. One sec. 454. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna FTL my fleet to you, and you are Jovian. You're Rocky what? 23.
Rocky 23.
Okay.
Is there an option to search for the solar system? I mean, you press enter, the search box appears, and you type there solar system 400.
What you can do right now, what you can just do is if you press / go to space like 424 whatever, it'll jump your camera there if you type that in the chat box.
Yeah, I see. I understand.
Down there.
Oh, there you are.
Hello.
And there are your ships, but your ships are not engaging. Neither are mine.
No, because we just met each other. Remember, this is a very dynamic universe. You decide who are your enemies, who are your allies.
So basically, right now I made contact with aliens.
Yeah. And now you see, like, the icon above my ship, my race icon is gray because you know nothing. I'm not friendly, I'm not enemy, nothing's happened. If you unselect all your ships and then left-click on one of my ships, a menu will pop up saying set hostile, set neutral, set friendly, or invite to your alliance. And that will be your first order to all your units. Now, an important thing to remember is that setting someone as friendly doesn't force them to be friendly to you. All it is you tell all your ships not to shoot at them. But if they shoot at you, like, they can still shoot at you even if you've set them as friendly.
I see. And if I set them friendly, will I be able to fire at them?
You would have to unset them as friendly. So if you want to fire them, then you'd have to change it and set them as hostile, and you would be able to fire right out.
And the same thing happens with alliances?
No. Alliances are different. Alliances are the only time where you are forced never to attack someone else in your alliance. But an alliance is a maximum of 15 players. So how it really works is that your alliance is like the greater empire, of the combination of all your, and there's a lot of ways that alliances can work together, like within your alliance. But all other relations outside, like the next level up, the first level is alliances, which is a maximum of 15 people. After that, you have coalitions, which are many alliances together, and you can have unlimited number of alliances in a coalition.
Oh my God.
One alliance can attack another alliance inside of a coalition. So the point of this is like kind of to avoid the problems that you see sometimes in browser strategy games or in EVE Online, where you have one alliance that's so big that it controls the entire area, and you have two choices: join the alliance or die. And like you can't fight against them, you can't do anything. What this means is that now information-based players.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got bored.
That was incredible.
Okay, so
and now, all right, go ahead.
So information-based players, Okay, wait. No, actually, let me step back a moment. The playstyle of the game is divided really into wow, Jesus Christ. The playstyle of the game is really divided into 4 main categories called DIME, which stands for Diplomacy, Information, Military, and Economy. Now, these aren't like classes in the game. You're not restricted to play a certain way or whatever. Oh shit. You're not restricted to play a certain way or limited to that. But those are kind of like the 4 main categories. Now, an information player, what that means is that you focus on gathering knowledge and intel from other players. So, but you can also do a lot of other cool things. Think about it as almost like a James Bond of strategy games. So you can also cloak your units to look like other players' units and stuff. So now, imagine what would happen. You have a coalition of 150 players. Now, you have one information player, and he goes in, and he pretends to be someone in the alliance. And he attacks, he pretends to be someone in the coalition and attacks someone else in the coalition. And then he pretends to be someone else in the coalition and attacks another person in the coalition. And he does that a couple of times. Pretty soon, the coalition would just collapse into infighting because they think that like other people in the coalition are attacking them. So then they go and attack the other person. And then the other person thinks that he was just attacked out of nothing. You know what I mean? So you can take advantage of all this and just completely break down coalitions from the inside out. So the larger it is, the harder it is to control. Because in a small alliance or in a small coalition of just like 15 people or something, you know everyone and you know they're not going to attack you. But in a coalition of like 300 people, you don't know the other guy. You don't trust him. It's not like you've never met him or dealt with him that much before. You never played a game with him, or you probably haven't even been on TeamSpeak with him. So that way it allows for the bigger something is, the bigger an alliance is, the easier it is to destroy it from the inside. Or the bigger a coalition is, the easier it is to destroy it from the inside.
That's incredible. I mean, it changes how RTS games are played. And it's very, very awesome. Honestly, I was looking how these ships are fighting, and I just don't know what to say, you know. It's so beautiful. It's so the details are so incredible. Okay.
There's still a lot of work to do on all this. I mean, we still have a long way to go. So
yeah,
it's gonna get a lot better.
This is Alpha build 07, and I'm already fascinated of this game.
So okay, so now you've seen the military is pretty simple. You know, the military aspect of the game is exactly what it sounds like. You know, warfare, being aggressive, stuff like that. The information, we refer to it. Oh no, actually, let's take another step back. One of the members of the team is actually a U.S. Air Force 2-star general, and I think he's the highest ranking military advisor in gaming history. And he works with us to help design kind of the metagame. Like, how does things work on the big scale? And one of the things that he says, that information is a force multiplier. Now, what that means is that information on its own is powerful. You can break down alliances, you can get people to betray each other, you can do lots of cool stuff like that. But when you add information to other elements of the game, it becomes even more powerful. Now, look at it this way. Your alliance is fighting a war with another alliance. And it's not a battle, it's a war. That's something also different in this RTS game. You don't fight just a battle or a match. You fight a war that could last for months. You could be fighting the same guys for months, conquering their planets, fighting against them, building up bigger fleets, and just this never-ending battle of a World War III going on there. Now, if you had an information player, he could tell you that this planet is his ship production planet. Like, remember before I was saying how I like to play. I divide up my planets, do different things. It's more efficient.
Yes, yes.
Well, if you had an information player, he could go in and say, well, this planet right here is his ship production planet. Or this other planet is his resource planet. Now, if I knew that, if a military player knew that, he could go to capture that one planet, or even just blockade that one planet. And he knows that if he shut down that planet, the enemy wouldn't be able to produce any more units. And so that information becomes incredibly powerful when fighting a war. Now, but information is powerful on all sides. Or then you also have the economic players. Now, economic players as I said, they can build up resources, they can build components, they can sell it to other players, trade with other players, and fund entire wars. But now, imagine an economic player. Okay, so an economic player is working with an information player. The information player tells the economic player that this alliance over here, this coalition, all use very similar ship designs. Like, you know, everyone in the alliance, they posted on their forums like what they think are the ideal ship designs that do the most DPS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this economic player would go and start producing a lot of those components that they use a lot of. And then the information player sparks a war between two alliances. And the moment that war starts, all of a sudden... Oh, you wiped me out. I should have had a better made fleet. My reinforcements will come. So anyway, so now the information player sparks a war between these two alliances. And remember, when you're producing a ship, 90% of the construction time of the ship is in building components. If you already have them built and waiting in your warehouse, ship production is much faster. But what will happen is, very soon they'll run out of their stockpiles of ships. And once they run out of their stockpile, not of ships, of components, sorry. Once they run out of their stockpiles of those components, they'll be looking to buy them. And just as the information player tells the economic player, okay, they just ran out of all their stockpiles, lo and behold, an economic player comes up and says, you know what? I have all these components to offer you. They're expensive, but you're in the middle of a war. You don't have a choice.
That's incredible thinking.
So that's the thing, is that all the play styles and stuff fit together very interestingly, and it's all about how players can work together. And oddly enough, opposites attract. So the more different your play style is from another player, most likely the better you guys would be able to play together. So even look, a total military player and a total economic player. The military player could destroy the economic player. Oops. The military player could destroy the economic player outright. He could destroy. Sorry, I was just making a new ship design. The old one clearly failed. So a military player could clearly capture all the planets of an economic player and take him out. But it's much more valuable for the military player to offer protection to the economic player if the economic player produces him and funds him with the components and resources that he needs. And they're the beginnings of a diplomatic unity are formed. Because it is totally open world. It's do whatever you want to. There's no restrictions. There's nothing. You play how you want to, and that's it. That's kind of the whole principle behind everything, is that there is no restrictions on any side.
I'm fascinated.
Okay. So now, now I think this. Okay, there's one other element which is actually in the game right now, but we currently removed it from the live server because it was creating some bugs, and as we have a lot of alpha testers on right now, they kept on crashing the server with it. Which is one of the fun things we do with all of our alpha testers, which we call the infiltrator program, which are like alpha testers. They've been helping design the game, helping develop things and everything. They're just an awesome group of people. But if anyone crashes the server, they get a special award. And like they figured out that there's a bug in the research system, and they kept on crashing the server like every minute with it. So we removed the research system for the moment. They're sabotaging us from the inside. But how research works actually works completely differently than all other strategy games. There's no tech tree at all. And each race has totally different form of the way they do research. Humans have a very dynamic research system, which is actually trying to be as realistic as possible. Where what happens is your scientists generate hypotheses, and just your entire empire, they start coming up with these hypotheses over time. And you don't know what it means. A hypothesis, an example of one, is I wonder what happens if I light this on fire. Okay? Now, if you want to, you can put the hypotheses into a research center and fund your scientists to light that on fire repeatedly and see what happens. They will come back, misting their eyebrows, saying, oh, if I light it on fire, it explodes. Now, with that, that's a breakthrough. Now, with that breakthrough, you'll have a generic idea. It explodes. So it's probably some kind of weapon to utilize it. Now, you can research that breakthrough even more, and they will come up with ways to apply it. And after that breakthrough, you'll come up with a prototype. Now, a prototype is exactly what it's going to do for you in-game. You'll have all the full stats of what it'll be. It'll be a cannon that does this much damage, its rate of fire, there's all the information on it. And then if you want that component, then you research that final stage of it. And then it unlocks that new component, new ship hull, new building, whatever it is. But these hypotheses, like, they don't generate it randomly and dynamically over time, and we're always adding new ones in. So there's always more things to research, but the most important part is that because it's what hypotheses you get is semi-random, if you take two players who have been playing the game for the exact same amount of time, probably about 80% of the technologies that each one of them has will be different. Whereas if we had a tech tree, if two players play for the same amount of time, they have pretty much the same tech. And we wanted to be completely opposite of that, because this way, you could find another player. He may even be a noob. He just started the game, and his first technology is the one that you've been trying to get for like 6 months. Now all of a sudden, you don't want to destroy him. You want to protect him and convince him to trade this weapon or this engine or this hull type or whatever with you, so that you can also have that technology. So it gives value to all the tech that you have and uniqueness to it as well, because no one else in the game will have the same total unlocked tech that you do. Everyone will have a different composition of it.
And from what you told me so far with alliances, coalitions, and type of players, type of gameplay, it's kind of risky to make videos with this game. I mean, you basically expose yourself.
You do. I mean, it's not. You do expose yourself. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of stream sniping that started happening. But it's the kind of thing where it depends on what your playstyle is and also what you have to offer. Because at the same time, if you're now, okay, another one of the coolest features, which will be a stretch goal, which I really hope we can get to, is crafting. Now, crafting will work differently. How crafting works, it's almost more of like an enchanting system, where you can take a component and you can mix different crafting resources onto that component. And with those different crafting resources, the different combinations, Jesus Christ, your fleet is massive. Like, all you build is Dreadnoughts. Seriously? Like, every single fighting ship is a Dreadnought. Okay, so
are you afraid?
A little bit.
So this crafting system.
Sorry, sorry. So now, what this means is that every component. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, so you have a mixture of items. Jeez, wow. Oh god, I'm so screwed. So, where was I?
The crafting.
Yes, the crafting. So have you ever, like, you know the Diablo 2 Herodric cube style, where you had the cube and you mixed a bunch of different things into it and something would happen, but you didn't know what, and you just went experimenting? It's kind of like that, where you mix a bunch of different resources into it and something will happen, but you don't know what. But the important thing is that when you find a recipe that you like, something will always happen, but when you find a recipe that you like, that produces a good reward, you can't share it with another player. Every one of the recipes and the whole algorithm is unique to every single player. So what it means is that if you go experimenting, you may find a way that you can craft a specific laser beam to do 10% more damage. And it's possible that you're the only player in the entire game that can do that. Because even if you put that recipe on Google, it wouldn't do the same thing for everyone else. So there's a high chance that you could end up selling a component that you are the only player in the entire game who knows how to produce that component. So all of a sudden that gives so much value, especially to economic players, because you could be an economic player that can sell a component. You're an economic player that you are the only person in the entire game, out of hundreds of thousands of players, you're the only one who knows how to make this component.
And based on that, you will make a lot of money.
Oh, a lot of money. But not only that, you can make a lot of alliances too. What if someone tries to come and kill you and say, wait a minute, I can give you this.
You need
and
backup.
Holy shit, you're awesome. Please, like, have my babies. But not only that, the other cool thing about the crafting, is that it creates a whole nother level to the tactical alliance play, because multiple players can craft the same item. So I have a recipe that'll add +2 to its damage. I can give that weapon, first I craft it. I give it to another player in my alliance, and he crafts the next level of that component. The next level of that, now he crafts something that will increase its damage by another +1%. I give it to someone else in the alliance who crafts it to another thing. And like, I think it's like 3 or 4 different people can craft the same item to make it even better. So you could actually have alliances of crafters and economic players who go creating these super weapons that are just insane and incredible and selling them on the markets and stuff. But there's so much uniqueness in it. Now, you may ask, like, what balances that? That's what the whole CP system was designed for, because it can allow crafting players to make completely unique and overpowered weapons, but no matter what, they always are balanced by their CP cost.
Indeed. And I have a question regarding this crafting and trading and marketing here in game. So you craft items. Is this all right? So the trading can happen between players.
Yep.
You have also this ship here orbiting around your planet.
Yep.
Okay, but is there?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is there going to be a global market? I mean, a solar system market or a whatever galaxy market?
There will be no form of global market in the game, and the reason why is because we want trading to be a personal thing. You have to interact with the players to trade. You have to go and find the people who can sell you the components that you want.
That's indeed more, you know, that gives players more interaction and more, that adds some more fun to it, you know.
Not only that, the other big part about why we added that in is because what will happen is you'll end up with price dispersion between different parts of the galaxies. Because maybe in one part of the galaxy, everyone likes to use a special kind of cannon. In another part of the galaxy, nobody uses it. So the price for that cannon on one side of the galaxy will be totally different than on the other side of the galaxy. So you could actually go and buy the components from one end of the galaxy and sell them in the other end. And
yeah,
make a huge profit on it. I mean, if you went and searched it out enough.
Yeah, you have a better perspective on the game. You really think different from the usual RTS developers.
No, I mean we want to make, as I said, we want to make the largest strategy game ever built. Like, that's kind of our objective. We want to create this all-encompassing, true empire simulation on a massive scale where you're playing with countless numbers of other players. I mean, that's what it's all about for us.
And you did a hell of a great job, and there's no wonder you will make a very wonderful game.
Thank you.
Honestly,
I appreciate that.
I really love it, even though it's in alpha. I love it.
Okay. Well, you say that now. My reinforcements haven't arrived yet. That was just my scouting fleet.
Oh, I can't wait to see your real power.
Okay, let's see. I just need to design a whole bunch of new ships. Now, another thing that you'll notice is that you spend a lot of time designing your ships and stuff like that. Oh my god! I actually, like, as a fellow diehard RTS fan, I haven't even mentioned probably, in my opinion, the coolest feature that we came up with for this game, which is actually going to be in really soon. It's almost done. Fully customizable unit AI. No longer will your units be doing stupid shit you don't want them to do. You customize all of the AI in what we call our tactics and strategies system.
What?
So what it is, first you design a tactic. Now, a tactic is really simple. A tactic is comprised of 3 different things. A tactic is a target, a time, and an action. So, a good example of this, a target, repair. A time, when an allied unit is below 25% health. And, sorry, an action is repair. A time is when allied unit is below 25 health, and the target will be like the nearest allied unit. Okay?
Yeah.
So now you have this as a strategy, as a tactic, sorry. That's one tactic. Now you build a second tactic, which is if I am taking fire, retreat away from the enemies doing the damage behind my allied forces. And you make that as the second tactic. Now you make a third tactic, which is if I am not taking fire, and repair all ships below 100% health in a much, much larger radius. Now, you comprise those 3 tactics together in the priority system that I just laid out. And now you have a tactic for a great engineering ship. In combat, the highest priority is to make sure that none of your ships die. Second highest priority is to stay alive. If you start taking fire, fall back behind the line. Third priority, if you're not in combat, you're not taking fire, you want to make sure that all of the ships in the fleet are healed to maximum health. And you can change those priorities as you want. And just like any RTS game, if you select the unit and give it an order, it will follow out that order before resuming its typical strategies. But what this means is we can make the game so complicated and it becomes so simple. For example, we can add in activatable shields that you have to turn on and activate, and maybe when they activate, they'll make your ship invulnerable for 30 seconds. Something like that would be impossible to add in the strategy game, because you have 500 units. How the fuck are you to know which even unit has those shields, or when to activate? It's impossible to do. I mean, look at League of Legends. People get confused with just 4 activatable skills. So now imagine having 500 different units. But with the customizable AI, you can customize when do you want that shield to activate. So you can say the moment my unit is taking enough damage that it will be killed in 15 seconds. So enough DPS is being done to it that it will be killed in 15 seconds, activate shield. And you can plan that ahead of time. Which means it's almost like you were taking the most micromanagement intensive game and allowing the players to plan their micromanagement ahead of time.
That's incredible, and it's even harder for players to anticipate what the other players are doing. You know, it's not the gameplay is not the same for everyone, which gives something new to discover for each player. You know,
yep.
That's very beautiful. You guys really make dreams come true. I'm fascinated of everything you say. I'm just sitting here and listen with so much curiosity everything that you say, and I'm so in love with this game. Very beautiful.
Thank you. Now we're just almost done here designing my ship.
Yes, I am waiting for you, and while waiting for you, I noticed that the planets are not gravitating around the star.
They are actually, but they do it slowly. We've only been playing for an hour.
Oh my god.
They do. If you press spacebar and go into tactical mode, you'll see a circle that your planet is in. That's your planet's orbit. But it goes slowly. You're not going to see it right now, but if you take a screenshot of your solar system right now, come back on tomorrow, you'll notice that the planets have moved a good like 15 or 20% in their orbit.
Oh.
So in a week or something, your solar system is laid out completely differently.
Now it makes a lot of sense. So in which solar system are you?
I am in 542, I think.
542. So 5. There's a long way from you to my planet.
Yes, I have to use FTL to get there. It's impossible to get there without FTL.
Because
Okay.
it will be nice to see some trading in action.
Some trading. Okay, let me actually I'll show you how to put stuff for sale on your port. Go onto your plant. You said you built a trading center, right? Trade station?
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Trade station.
if you click on your trade station,
Wait a second.
one second, I just started building mine, so I need to.
Okay. I'm building a trade station just to be sure I have one. But I suppose if I have that ship there, the trade station is built.
You
right?
have a trade station.
Yeah. All right. Teach me, master.
Okay, one sec.
There's also a shield that is surrounding the planet.
Yes, that's part of the thing. Your home planet, you can build 2 fortress shields. Your fortress shields can never be captured. And this means that you'll be able to capture many other planets, and you'll need to capture other planets. But your 2 most important planets cannot be captured as long as you play the game actively.
I see.
If you're going inactive for a long period of time, your fortress shield will shut down.
And the natural satellites that are gravitating around the planet, am I able to build on those satellites?
We want to add that in. That will be a stretch goal to be able to build on them, just like you can build on your planet.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay, so now first thing you want to do is go to your warehouse and select something. Do you have like a component or anything lying around in your warehouse? Probably should.
Component.
Or
Yeah, I have a FTL drive assembly.
Perfect. Put it for sale. Select it, and at the bottom of the market, select Move to Market.
All right. And can I select uncommon resources to put on the market?
Yes. All trading on the market is done via funds, which were the core thing you tax from your people. It's the primary money or gold resource in the game. So you can sell the resources to have credits. So you can also sell the funds and stuff. Now, after you've done that, on the list on the left, click on your trade station.
All right.
And you'll see you should have 3 slots, or maybe 6, depending on how many trade stations you built.
Six.
So you've built 2 trade stations. Now select the component that you want to put for sale. And then on the left of it, you see it shows up on the bottom of the screen. You'll see item cost. Click on the 0 there and type in however much you want to sell it for. And then click set for sale. And now that item is officially set for sale on your trade station. Now I need to build a trading ship and with cargo bays and stuff like that, and then I can move to pick it up. Now another thing, I can show you how to do more personal trades, which is go to your ship designer, so your shipyard, ship designer.
Shipyard, okay, ship designer.
One second, I actually okay, so now shipyard, ship designer, and now you want to build a ship that has what was it called? The under bays that has supply cargo bay.
Supply cargo bay.
Oh no, you want a light cargo bay. Sorry.
I only see bay here. You know.
Under bays, you should have a supply cargo bay.
Bay. No, only bays.
Yeah.
Bays.
Yeah, under bays. The first one. What's the name of the first bay?
Oh, supply cargo. Okay, I understand. I was on the whole section and I was looking for a ship that has supplies bay. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm in the base. Okay.
Okay.
Supplies cargo bay.
Yep. Now there. Now in the spot. Now once you've you put that on your ship design.
Yes.
Okay. Now go ahead and save the ship design and actually design the ship.
It is creating a new ship.
Yes. Perfect.
The transporter. Now I'm gonna have to go to the
Remember to put
shipyard.
engines on it.
Oh, I think it does have. Let me check. Let me just check. I think it does have engines. No, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Oh my god. If I place more engines, how is this going to affect my ship?
It will be faster, but it will cost more CP.
I see. I understand. All right, it's saved. Now I will build one of those ships, right?
Yes. You want to build? Oh, no. Before you build them, go into your spaceport and turn off the auto launch. Otherwise, it'll just launch it right into space. And you don't want it to do that just yet.
All right. Turned off and build. How do I dismiss the other? Select them and dismiss. It's not working.
What do you mean?
I mean, I have more from the initial design. The initial ship, the first ship that I created is now building, and I want to dismiss it.
You can't cancel builds right now. That's something we're still adding in. That's the moment. If a ship is in the middle of production, you can't cancel it.
And I think I cannot build any more ships. I have to destroy some existent ones. How do I destroy the ships?
At the moment, easiest thing to do is just FTL into another player's fortress shield. That will instantly kill them. Because you can't enter enemy fortress shields, and if you try to, you die. So just find another planet close to you that has a blue shield around it, and then just tell all your ships to go into it.
Nice. It's crazy. So it's beautiful because there's this space in between the planets, and there are ruins of other ships. Is that right?
Yep. Ruins of other ships, space stations, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so now let me. Okay, so.
Nice. Oh my god.
Okay, so now you should have a lot more CP again, free.
Yeah.
And you should be able to select one of the ships in your spaceport and click load unload. I'm actually trying to remember how to do this myself. Because we just added in respawn.
Yeah, the ship is not built yet, so
okay.
I have to wait. Let's see. Really amazing. On the planet, I actually have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
On the planet, when you build a building, there is a space between these buildings that must be kept.
Yes.
Why
now,
is that?
That doesn't matter too much right now. We added that in because later on we want to add in full ground combat and orbital bombardment, which means that you'll actually be able to select your ships and have them bombard the surface of the planet from space. And so we wanted to add that in, so the location of your building is actually really important, because you imagine these massive anti-capital ship cannons raining down on your planets like giant meteors. The placement of your building is important, like what do you want to be able to shoot at. Also, once we add in the full controllable ground combat, where you can actually give your ground combat, your troops on the surface of the planet, orders of what buildings you want them to capture and destroy and stuff like that. The placement of your empire becomes much more important. We added it in right now so that when we add in those features later on, we don't need to do full resets of accounts and planets and stuff.
I see. And if you have more space in between the buildings, it's basically better when you deal with the bombardment.
Yes, but worse when you deal with defending your planet.
Yes, yes.
So it depends, kind of, it's a give and take there.
Yeah. My ships are not building.
Do you have any CP?
15,000.
You should. That should be enough to build some ships.
Yeah. There's also a number 111633456. What's that? Above the name of the ship. Okay, the ship is built.
Okay.
What do I do now?
Okay, now once it's built, go into your spaceport and you should find it in your spaceport.
And it is here.
Okay.
It is not. It is not. Wait a second. Shipyard. The transporter was not built. No.
No?
No, it wasn't the transporter. It was the other ships.
Oh, okay. Also, your ships may not be building because all the factories on your planet are full. That may be another thing. As I said, your factories can fill up pretty quickly, especially on this server as you generate so much resources so quickly.
Having many resources is bad.
No, it's good, but it takes up more factory space. Sorry, warehouse space.
Warehouse space.
So maybe good just to build a couple more warehouses. I noticed that I just ran into that problem.
Alright, gonna do so. And where's your big attack going to happen?
It will come shortly. I'm just trying to. I want to walk you through how loading cargo onto ships and stuff and unloading it works, and I forgot exactly how to do it, so I had to do it myself as well.
I see. I see.
Okay.
And when I build something, when I build a building, something falls from the sky.
Yes.
What's the idea behind this?
It looked cool.
Yeah,
that's the full idea. That's it. There's no more logic to it. It just looks cool.
It just fell from the sky.
Yeah, buildings fall from the sky. Totally logical. No, the problem is that there wasn't enough explosions in the planet development and stuff. So it's like we need more explosions here. And it's like, why don't the buildings fall from the sky and explode on the planet?
Yeah,
that's how buildings should be built. And we're like, yeah.
It makes the player feel like a god. I mean, he makes things fall from the sky.
Okay, so now, have you built some of your first ships yet?
Let me check. The transporter is not built. Oh my god.
Did you build some more warehouses?
Yes, I did. Okay, the warehouses was the problem. Now the transporter is built. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I go to the spaceport.
Yeah. You should have your ship there.
Yes.
Okay.
I click on it and load.
Yep.
With resources.
And you should just be able to click and drag from the right section, or the left section, over to the right section to load it onto your ship.
Okay, and the item that I set on sale.
No, this is now totally different. This is loading components onto your ship to move them between your planets, or to drop them off at another player's planet, or to sell them to another player.
Okay, I see.
So the stuff you set for sale is always like a passive sale, kind of like Anno style. You know, in your warehouse in Anno, you can set things to be for sale or for buying.
Yeah. But if I drag items, common resources is not putting them in the supply cargo.
What kind of cargo bay do you have? It
Supply.
shouldn't be supply cargo bay. It should be the other one. I think that I may have told you to build the wrong one.
No, I think I got the wrong thing, because it was that situation. I wasn't fighting the bay, and it's okay. I'm gonna build another one.
Yeah, you know what you should try and build? Use the easiest way is use the Cruiser Mark 1 hull. It can fit 2 types of bays on it, and just put the supply cargo bay and the light cargo bay. It's one of the two. I can't remember which.
All right. So which one?
Put 1 supply cargo bay and 1 light cargo bay.
The hull. Which?
Oh, the hull. Cruiser Mark 1.
Cruiser Mark 1. Beautiful. 2 bays. No weapons, engines, and bay. Light cargo bay.
There you go.
And
2 light cargo bays, actually.
oh, 2 of them. All right.
No, I just finished building my ship that had one of both, and I realized I was mixing it up. It's the light cargo bay that you can load the cargo onto. The supplies is for ship supplies, which is actually another thing that I haven't discussed yet, which is that all ships have a supplies on them. Supplies are ammunition, energy, fuel, everything. And your ships can actually run out of supplies while in
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It takes a while. But if you go and take the same fleet and try and conquer half the galaxy, eventually you will run out of supplies on the ships, and you will need to dock them on a planet to resupply them and repair them, or have supply cargo bays, which will hold more supplies on the ship, so it'll take longer time to run out, or have special ships that come to resupply your fleets.
That's amazing. That basically makes the player to think twice before deciding to go and conquer the entire galaxy or something.
Not only that, it makes supply routes very important. So, like, not in a battle, a supply route isn't important, but in a war, a supply route is incredibly important, because you need to be able to maintain your supply routes. I mean, think about it. If you're trying to fight a war against me, and my spies tell me that your ships are running low on supplies, if I send my ships behind your fleet to intercept your resupply, your fleet may run out of ammunition and stuff, and will be sitting ducks, and I'll just be able to rip them to pieces.
I see.
Okay, now, have you built the ship with the light cargo bays?
Yes.
Okay, so now when you go to load, unload, you will see you should have 1 or 2 little sectors, like black.
Yeah, I have 2 little sectors.
Yep, so you can click and drag whatever you want to load into the ships.
I did.
And then you can click the back button and then just launch the ship into space.
All right. So stupid. All right.
Now, how to land a ship on a planet is you select the ship.
All right.
And in the bottom right of the screen, where the FTL button is,
yes.
You also have planet interaction. So select planet interaction, click on your planet, and click dock. And then it lands the ship back on the planet in the shipyard, and you can unload the resources from it. Now, you can imagine why people like the idea of using a capital ship as a trade ship, because a capital ship would be able to hold like 500 different components and stuff in it. So you would have so much, or even much more than that, actually, more like 1,000 different components.
Beautiful.
So because of that, it makes the whole idea of a trading capital ship incredibly valuable. Now, after all this, I have been getting distracted from designing my Uber fleet.
Oh, you're preparing something for me, huh? That's not good. I will prepare something for you as well. And factory. It's quite interesting. Did you even send your troops?
When? Yet? No.
No, not yet?
No.
Alright. I can't wait to see the results of this.
It will trump, do not worry.
Hopefully you didn't build the same ship as I did.
We will see.
Yeah, you did.
What, all dreadnoughts? No,
Yeah.
I don't have many dreadnoughts.
Not many. Oh, okay.
I only have like maybe like 15 or 10 or so. No,
That's a lot.
about 10 dreadnoughts, not too many. No, dreadnoughts aren't actually that good because they have very, very weak rear armor. So they, if you flank them, they die really fast.
Oh. Then I suppose I need to find something that counters your future flanking, which are going to be. So, how do I know a ship is bigger than another one?
Well, everything. Oh, you're hiding inside your fortress shield? Come out. Don't be a chicken.
Oh, there you are.
Just
What's
scouting.
that?
Just
You're
scouting.
scouting.
Well, there's the human. Each race has 5 different class distinctions. So the human race has 5 different classes of hull, which are named destroyer, corvette, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, dreadnought, in that order. So a battleship is always smaller than a dreadnought, and you notice there's like Mark 1 and Mark 2. There'll be many different kinds of battleship hull types statistically that all have different ability, different health, different armor, different weapon slots, all that stuff.
Yeah, I see. All right.
Are you gonna leave your fortress shield now, or just to hide inside there like a chicken?
Oh, you were waiting for me to get out.
No, I'm not. Look outside your fortress shield. None of my fleets are around there, but I'm not gonna send my entire fleet to attack you while you're inside your fortress shield.
Why not? It's not like you will get inside.
Exactly. That's why I'm not gonna bother attacking. Fight like a man. Chicken.
Oh, you're gonna pay for that. All right.
Did all you build was dreadnoughts? Oh my god. Everything
Right.
dreadnought.
Let me see how you handle them. Really curious. Oh, where is your army? I am outside, but I don't see you. Your ship is destroyed. Do I have to... Oh. Do I have to press T every time? No, I suppose not. That's nice. That's nice. So it looks like your troops are getting flanked.
You haven't looked behind you, have you?
I did. How did you get there so fast?
Because they were on the outside of the solar system waiting for you to move in. So as soon as you turn around to take on the diversionary forces, then my actual forces arrived.
Those are your actual forces. Look at that. You're flanked now. What? Wait a second. You got more troops.
Haha. I like splitting my fleet up into lots of little fleets. It makes it a lot easier to outflank the enemies and get around them.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I totally can.
Now, the one important thing to remember is that you can never face primary weapons backwards. So, like, primary anti-capital ship weapons and stuff can never be facing backwards. So if you can get behind the enemy, no matter what, it's always a better plan.
Okay, I see that. Beautiful. The battle is beautiful. And another fact that I like is that the ships doesn't get destroyed easily, you know?
It's there. I mean, some of the ships do. The smaller ships die pretty easily.
Yes,
but larger
yes,
ships take a bit more to kill. And the other important element is it's much more about tactical positioning, and then like on top of that, the reason why I wanted to make sure that the normal ship combat wasn't too complicated, is partially we're still adding a lot of the more complicated abilities and attributes and stuff like that. But you also have your capital ship, which we want the players to be able to micromanage a lot of.
Yeah. The ships, this big ships that we are using, are not getting destroyed very easy.
No,
which makes
the Dreadnoughts are not easy to destroy because they have really good front armor. It's really hard to destroy them.
Face to face.
Yeah, it's really hard to destroy them face to face. Now, another thing you'll notice is that every time a unit dies, not every time, most of the time that a unit dies, a shockwave is produced and it knocks back the units around it. It also actually does quite a bit of damage to them.
Okay, that's brilliant.
So you may want to, like, if you see one of your units is dying, you may want to separate them a bit from your formation, or like what you've seen me do a couple of times. As soon as one of my units started dying a lot, I would actually just throw him into your formation.
Oh. You're evil. Yeah, I suppose I have a lot to learn about this game.
It takes a little getting used to it. It's all about positioning. It's not necessarily about like micromanagement or actions per minute. It's really all comes down to positioning. That's what is the core to being good at the game.
Thanks for sharing that with me.
It's almost more a little like Total War gameplay, you know, like playing Total War game. It's not necessarily about the micromanaging. It's about having the good overall plan and executing it better.
Beautiful. Oh, those are some little ships.
Little ships can still mount anti-capital ship cannons, though. Not as well, like they can't have nearly as many of them, but they can still do quite a bit of damage.
Beautiful.
Okay, so.
Beautiful. So you were winning this one. Nice. I saw some explosions. Yeah, you kind of you owned me.
But I mean, As you see, it's all the real thing is about positioning and tactics. No, positioning more than anything in those kind of tactics. And then once we add in the capital ships, they will add a huge another level to gameplay because they'll have buffs for all your units and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yes, and also you forget one thing. Your units are very far away from home.
Yes.
Which means
you can resupply much, not resupply, but reinforce much faster than I can.
Yes, yes, and that's a huge advantage.
Yes.
That's a huge advantage. So
I may win the battle, but I'm not going to win the war.
Yes, yes. The initial battle. The initial battle. Because the result of the battle is going to be different from what the initial engage that you made had shown. So, I'm flanking your units. You're not doing anything about it. So, how do I know a ship is going to get destroyed? I mean, how do I know the health of a ship is low?
You don't know their health until you have the utilities of different levels of sensors that will tell you what the enemy's ship's health is on. And just in that sense, you will have sensors that can tell you what the enemy's ship design is. And the importance of this is, just remember, sensors will cost CP, your command points, which means you won't want to put them on all your ships. So you have a few ships that are like your sensor units, and those units will be able to tell you the enemy ship's health. But if the enemy can know which ones those are, they can try and kill those as fast as possible. So, because not knowing how much health an enemy unit has is a huge disadvantage. Also, another thing is that Control X will show you like typical MMO style like damage numbers above the ships about how much damage you've done and taken.
Beautiful. Wonderful. And the view, man. The view is wonderful. Especially when you see Star Wars battles. Come on. Come on. What do you want more?
So this is this is Novus Aeterno.
Wonderful.
I think that pretty much that covers most of the core features of the game, most of the things we want to be adding in. The other races, each one of them will play very differently. All have very unique, not only like ships and components, but like the core style of the Empire, how their research works, how their population is managed, stuff like this will all be very different.
And
another cool element is that you can actually use alien tech. You can capture a planet that belonged to an alien player and be able to produce the ships and stuff that he had on that planet and all those things. So you could actually have a human fleet with like a couple of alien dreadnoughts in it and stuff.
That's cool. And if I choose another race, I will be spawned in the same solar system. I mean, yeah, solar system.
No, if you want to switch your core race, you have to effectively start a new empire, which means that your current empire would probably be gifted to an NPC race, one of the NPC factions in the game, but it would save some of the harder stuff to unlock, such as it would save like the theories that you've unlocked, your research that you've done, your crew experiences, your technologies you've unlocked, and like the things that you can craft, like your crafting recipes. It would save all that in case you ever wanted to go play humans again. You still had the important things, but you would have to rebuild your empire.
Yes, and I actually wonder if if I select another race than the humans, will I be spawned in another galaxy? I mean, will you separate the races, or
no.
you will make a mixture of it?
No. Everything spawns dynamically. There is no division also politically. So a human and a Veranos will start the same way two humans start. Like you don't start enemies or allies. There's no overarching like race alliance. the storyline and all that of the game, and like the storyline of the different factions and who's at war with who, all goes through the NPC factions. And there'll be a lot of NPC factions in the game, which are like players. They own planets, they have fleets, they have resources, they have economy and everything. And they are the remnants of the main empire, so the remnants of the human empire and stuff like that. And you can work with these NPC races and support them in their missions and their objectives. And that's where kind of you'll get a lot of the storyline, those elements. But the other thing is, it's a dynamic storyline. It goes evolving as players go helping each other, like fight the different NPC races and work with them or support them or destroy them. Even to the point where we actually are allowing the players to completely kill an NPC faction.
Whoa.
Because they own planets, just like every other player. They have ships, they have everything. And the different factions are at war. So the players will go support in one faction, and you may end up in a situation where one faction is getting beaten down and may get completely destroyed. But if that starts happening, that faction will start offering better and better rewards to come and save them, because they're desperate. So it's almost like it'll unite the player base. Like, if they want to get into the lore and the story of the game, they can be here like fighting for the future of the game. And like in 3 years, when someone joins the game, like a few factions may be dead, and that's lore of the game. Like the lore is, well, there was these great battles and this long war that lasted 6 months, and the factions were destroyed, and this player captured single-handedly 16 planets, all this stuff, because you'll become heroes of the lore of the universe, because you will be a part of the destruction of the factions and the expansion of the game itself.
That's cool. Amazing.
Now, another thing, you'll notice that right now combat is a bit, like, not that dynamic. There's not a whole lot of movement and stuff going on. That's because we haven't implemented the whole dynamic, the customizable AI yet. So the AI that's in the game is just really, really basic. So it's a bit, like, inactive.
Even though I'm amazed. I mean, I love it, and I love it at this stage. And you're telling me you're gonna make it better, and what can I want more? Wonderful. But in the end, it looks like I won the battle.
Yes, but you had reinforcements. It's unfair.
Yeah. Well, I had this advantage.
My last Dreadnought, Joan, is almost dead. He will survive. No! Oh, he is so strong.
That's the last review. Ah, well, has exploded. Okay, big explosion. Beautiful. Well, I guess this was it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure playing with you, and I'm glad you enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to play your game, and also it was a pleasure to have you as a guide through this game. I can say I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful for that.
It was my pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you around space.
Yeah, and guys, do not forget to back the game Novus Aeterno on Kickstarter. There's a link in the description for that. Also, there's a link for the website, for the Facebook page of Novus Aeterno, just in case you want to find out more about it. And, well, I hope I will see you on the battlefield when this game gets released. So, thank you very much, Nick, for being here with me.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.